What's up, guys? Welcome to Uninfluenced.
Hey.
Yeah, bitches. So today we're going to get into some cool topics on some cars. We're going to get into a little bit of political bullshit here and there, but mainly I think we're going to stick to cars. It'll be a 50-50 type episode today. So for those of y'all watching the question and answers on Monday, y'all see we got it to where we can see stuff happening on a screen over here to our side. It's like we got our own Jamie.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but we can see stuff on the side so we can be more up to date, talk about more of the fact stuff. So maybe I can get rid of this one day.
Nah, man, you got to keep that.
Yeah. 'Cause what if I'm looking at porn?
What if?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to bring up a topic that kind of happened today. I kind of brought it up in the other room and I didn't get too into it. Talking politics. So when we talk politics, we're both more open. I mean, we kind of know each other's political views and whatnot. But if I'm talking politics with you or someone with total opposite views than me, I can talk politics with them as long as they want, as long as we're both open-minded about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But as soon as either party, me or them, gets closed off on it, it's kind of done for me at that point. And I kind of went through that today, that someone, not today, this weekend, someone assumed I was this way politically, so all the views in that party are correct. Everything they see is 100% correct, and to me, that's just not the case. That's the beauty of our system is I should be able to listen to both sides, and hell, there could be a Democrat over here that I totally agree with
On something,
yeah, and then a Republican over here that I disagree with. That don't mean I'm not Republican or I'm more Democrat. That just means this guy had some fucking really good fucking views, or girl, sorry, guy or lady. And I like to be open-minded. I like to read more about who I'm not a straight ticket voter.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
No, I agree. I think identity politics is one of the biggest issues plaguing our country as it is right now. You know, with people that have that, is that they identify as their party, and it, you know, is straight down the line on every issue, is that they're like, well, you know, I'm a this and we think that. And so even if they don't intend to, a lot of times it ends up happening that way. And I think the two things that derail a discussion in terms of politics is number one is not, and I talk about this in the book quite extensively before every chapter. This one fucking book that
one?
I can't remember what it's called.
Unfuck America, I think it is.
Something. I don't know.
Amazon.
But is the going into the conversation with the ability to control your reaction emotionally, you know, and I do make the distinction between controlling your emotions and controlling your reaction, because the reality of it is that you can't control your emotions. Your emotions are what they are. You can control how you react to those emotions, though, and I think it's important to make that distinction and look at it that way to help you be able to do that, is to not try to suppress how you're feeling about something, but don't let it drive how you actually respond from an action standpoint. That's number one. Number two is going into that conversation with the prospect that you might be wrong, or at a minimum that you might learn something from the other person, you know. And when you do both of those things, you can talk to anybody about anything, you know, because if you keep it emotionally balanced or under control, then you're not going to fly off the handle, which puts them in a defensive posture, et cetera. If you're both that way, you can calmly and civilly discuss anything. And on the other side of that token is that you might actually learn something. You might actually have your mind changed. You know, I've had discussions with people where they absolutely changed the way I thought about things, you know, and I think you should strive to have those experiences, to talk with people that you disagree with, but do it in a civil manner and an open-minded enough manner to where your mind could be changed. Now, there are certainly things that I feel really, really fucking strongly about that you're probably not going to change my mind. But I want to at least go in there with the prospect that might happen. You know, and when you do that, and I've been fortunate enough to just in what I do with a living, traveling around and talking to a lot of people in a lot of different industries and environments, whether it's the, down at the homeless level, all the way up to multi-billionaires and everything in between, and all different types of industries, and whether it's government related or private sector or what have you. And there's been some pretty interesting conversations that I would never have been able to have had I not employed those two strategies while doing so. So, sometimes it can be really hard to talk politics with people, especially if they get really heated, they start yelling, they get passionate about it, but that's my 2 cents.
I know for me, I don't know about you, because of, I guess, the way people see how I talk and the way I live my life, everybody assumes automatically this guy's 100% Republican, blah, blah, blah. And everybody, that's what they want to do. Not everybody. The majority of people, when they want to talk, especially about the show, is politics. And it's like, I'll talk to you about it. Yeah. Matter of fact, me and Brandon and his wife, when they were here, we had a good hour and a half conversation about political views, back and forth. And I enjoy it when it's like that, back and forth. At the end of the day, we finished conversation. We both went to dinner. We didn't talk shit else about politics.
Yeah.
Me and you, I don't think we ever really talk politics. But for the most part, people always want to talk politics. And the quickest way to get me uninterested in the start of a conversation is come up and want to just go into politics with me and think I'm going to talk to him straight about Republicans and blah, blah, blah. And now, if you want to come up to me at a car event and you want to talk cars, let's talk cars. Let's not talk politics.
Because we'll argue about cars, guys.
Yeah. I mean, think of it this way. You brought up something real good. Go into everything open-minded. Same thing we do with cars. I've said, and then I've came on this show and said, there's cars, 720, for example. I'll never own that fucking car again. Fuck that car. It's a piece of shit.
What's in your garage?
A 720.
That's right.
But I went back into it. Me and you had got to talking, and you kind of opened my mind again. And I wouldn't say I'm disappointed with the 720 at all. It's just when I went into this one thinking speed instead of quality and
driving experience.
I went into this one thinking speed, and then I learned some stuff about the handling that totally changed the way this car was for me. Yeah. And if I would have kept a closed mind, I'd have been, fuck that, I've done it. I did it once, I'm never doing it again.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with all kinds of cars. I mean, hell, my wife over and over. You're not getting a GT500. You're going to fucking hate that car. You're going to waste your money. You don't need one. Well, I bought one. Fuck her. I also sold one.
But you still liked it.
I did like it. And matter of fact, getting the windows tinted on what I got today, they started asking me a lot about the GT500. And I told them to go back and listen to last week's episode where we really, both sides talk about the GT500. I think bang for the buck, it's still a great fucking car.
Well, and I also think, not to interrupt, but the main, really the only thing about it that wasn't as good as it needed to be that led to you getting rid of it is not going to be a factor for most people, frankly. So most people aren't going to drive them the way that we primarily drive them at higher speeds over longer distances where, the reality of it is there's not a lot of places in the country, frankly, that there's groups of people that will do that, and there's enough areas to do it in, So, if that's not, something that you need or want the car for, then it doesn't even fucking matter,
Yeah.
So,
I don't know about you, but a lot of people don't realize when we talk about the speeds we go when we're driving, there are times where we're going that fast that I'm wondering about tire quality.
Yeah. And pressure and temperature.
Yeah. I'm not looking at speed sometimes. I'm looking at, fuck, what's that tire say?
Yeah.
What's that tire say? And in the McLaren, I even told you at one point, I got going so fast that the whole fucking dash lit up red, and it was like, check tire pressure, sensor's low. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And then I slowed down a little bit, pressure's good, checked them, fuck it, let's go.
No, it's funny. When I, like in the pista as an example, when I first started, I scrolled to the engine temperature and oil temperature page or screen, and I have it on there until both hit 170. Once both hit 170, then it goes to the tire pressure and temperature gauge, and I use that to gauge how hard I get on it, you know.
Yeah.
And if my tires aren't above 80 degrees even, I won't get on it super hard at all. I won't corner hard. I won't punch it, you know, like, you know, so yeah, I'm not even really looking at the speed or even the engine temperature at this point, because I've done enough driving in that car now, having put, you know, a little over 9,000 miles on it, to where, like, even in the middle of summer, running it for, you know, an hour straight, fucking super, super hard, it never went above normal operating temperature. I mean, like, I've never had a car that stayed so fucking cool so well driving the shit out of it. You know,
Yeah.
the only time that car will start to creep up on getting too warm is if you're just sitting there idling. You know, if you're stuck in traffic, yeah, it'll get hot and can cause problems if it's, you know, if it's more than about 30 minutes of basically just idling and not going really anywhere, then you start to have an issue. But driving it hard, like, it's so well done intercooler wise and you know, air movement through the frame and everything, that it just, I mean, it never gets above about 185, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, which, fuck, every other car I've had is, you know, 220, 230 when you're really ripping it hard and it starts to get hot. Now, I know different engines have different quote unquote normal operating temperatures, but, you know, that thing almost doesn't ever hit 190, you know, even just fucking hammering it when it's hot out, you know, it's crazy. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It's a damn good vehicle. But that goes to show you guys that we will open our minds and we do try multiple things. Again, the beauty of what we do is we buy the shit. We're not going and taking a dealer car. Now, I would love to get to where we have dealer demo cars where they let us beat the shit out of them.
yeah, I'd still drive them the same.
Yeah, but we buy these cars. We go beat the shit out of them. So we're giving you guys true opinion. I will still state right now, my list is the bang for buck, the GT500, still good. The Cayman, I say almost everything from the GTS up. And then you have the Audi R8. To me, the Audi R8 is a fucking great car but for what we do, it kind of starts edging itself out. And it's, again, take that with a grain of salt, because you're probably not going to be able to push to not because we're better drivers, just we know open spots to where we push our fucking cars hard.
Yeah, not that car. Yeah, I wouldn't, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would still keep the ZR1.
Yes,
in
the
that
ZR1
category too, but
that again is a car for me it's so fucking good. Especially, we've told everybody he has that, right? Yeah. Especially now that Clint has it, watching someone who can really fucking drive take that car and do the shit he does with it. But it still, for some reason, it skips my mind. But look how much they've gone up.
yeah, I mean, at this point, to get one, you know, you could get an R8. A used R8 for the same price that you're going to get most used ZR1s for. But here's the reality of it, though, is that at that level of driving, the ZR1 will eat a fucking R8's lunch, you know.
And the base R8, like, I don't think, not the base R8, the base ZR1,
Yeah.
which I don't even consider, because Clint's, it's not the track version, but it's the base. Their base version is still fucking tons of carbon, tons of aero.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
the
I
only
mean,
thing it's missing is the wing, right?
Yeah, I think so. There may be
I
more
could be
to it,
wrong about that.
But, you know, that car did a 704 on the ring. You know, I mean, that's fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, whereas the fastest R8 time I've seen is 728. You know, that's a big fucking difference. You know? And an R8, I mean, even a used one, you know, it's still in the upper hundreds, you know, in the upwards of 200,000. I mean, it's one car that hasn't really skyrocketed, which is strange, because, you know, R8s are actually numerically rarer than Huracans. There's fewer of them than there are Huracans, but, you know, it's one of the few supercar sports cars over the last year that hasn't skyrocketed. I mean, it's gone up a little bit, but not much, you know. And that's kind of weird thinking about it. But
You remember what that one I sent you where only 20 came to the United States and it was only built for the United States, the R8?
The Decennium?
No, it was something more rare than that, because it had aero on it, like a real wing, and like it almost looked like a Performante version of the R8.
That's cool. To me, it needs, front splitter, rear diffuser.
That's what this had.
Like, venting that goes into the wheel wells and shit that isn't fake.
Yeah.
To me, that's just like, I'm baffled, yes, Audi is the more everyday supercar version of a Huracan, but Jesus Christ, there are spots on there that you make look like venting that isn't. Like, at least make the shit that looks like venting, actual venting. I mean, those little changes that I would think would be fairly easy to make, I think would make a pretty substantial difference in that car's handling ability, primarily the downforce, but.
I think it's called the GT or some shit. It was limited to like 10 or I'll have to find the damn thing again.
I love it. Is the Audi R8 worth it? Like, fuck no. It depends.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's it. Is it LMS GT3?
Maybe. They were very fucking rare, though. There was like 10 of them, and I found one.
I think that's it. Let's go down. Right there. Or the GT3. Is it above that, maybe?
Yeah. Click on the. It looks like that red one right there. That white and red one.
That one?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It looks like that one, but it's a street version. Only 10 of them came to the United States. There's 10 or 25. I'm going to have to find what it was. I thought I sent it to you, but maybe I didn't.
Meanwhile, none of you guys can see what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, get Google, bitches. Anyway, it was really cool. It had an extra 250 pounds of downforce and more aero and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the pricing, and it's 150 to high 100s. It hasn't gone way up the way just about everything else has.
Which is weird to me. Maybe it's that one that says limited edition. No, because they were all that Suzuka gray that you had. It was that color. Every one of them that came to the United States, every one of them were that color, and they were numbered on. I'll find it. I'll tell you what. I'll find it, and we'll put it in the description of this video so you guys can check it out after you watch the whole video. Fuckers. Anyways, it was really, really cool. Had a different wing on it, everything.
Yeah.
And it looked menacing. Like it had the different front splitter. Like I want to say that the air inlets were functional on the back. Anyway, I'll find it and then I'll send it to you and we'll put it in here. That way we're not totally wasting y'all's time.
Too late.
I think that's the part they like the most when my dumb ass just rambles on about shit that don't matter. But let's talk about one thing that we're going to kind of switch up here, electric motors. One thing I do want to say, for everybody that calls an engine a motor, you're an idiot. So I got told this when I was in the oil field, that an engine is combustible, a motor is electric. And I was like, no way. Like, my boss was like, we're not going any further till you Google it. And I said, here, fuck you. I Googled it. At that point, I'm still a car guy, and I'm like, fuck that. Man, I just put a new motor in my car.
Yeah.
I don't
got
have
a built motor.
Yeah, I don't have a motor in my shit.
That's funny.
And so the Koenigsegg electric motor, 63 pounds.
But yet cranks out 335 fucking horsepower and 443 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
Pound-feet. I mean, to me, that's what's interesting is, Koenigsegg is, it'd be hard to argue that they're not at least one of the, if not, the best manufacturer of super high performance cars. And in my opinion, of all of the hypercars, I think theirs are the best from a performance standpoint. Handling and all things being probably where they're a lot better suited for performance than say Bugattis or Paganis or shy of say the LaFerrari maybe, but they're just from a mechanical and engineering standpoint they're as good as it gets, and to see them putting this kind of bandwidth and research and development into an electric motor is pretty neat. But that's also, imagine two of those.
That's what's in the Camaro, right?
I have no idea, but two of those or four of them. I mean, imagine one at each wheel.
Yeah.
You're talking 240 pounds is the only weight that's going to add, and that's going to be a 1,000 horsepower a 1,200 horsepower vehicle, with 250 pounds worth of motors.
Yeah, I mean, so it's looking at something like that is where me and you have stated, I want to say in the first 5 shows we started, we were both in agreement to hybrids.
Yeah.
Versus full electric. I'll stick to this till the fuckers are dead and gone, or I'm dead and gone. The hybrid engine, when you can put shit like this, for instance, the SF90, you drop weight, you're saving fuel economy by dropping weight, but you're adding weight, adding these motors. But the SF90 has no reverse in its transmission. It uses the electric motor to push the car back.
Yeah.
And that's neat. So Koenigsegg, which is way more advanced into this shit than I would say Ferrari is.
Yeah.
The system they're designing, I want to say that's in the Gamera, and I'm probably saying that totally fucking wrong. It's the 4-seater car that they're coming out with a 3-cylinder engine. It's got like 1,400 or 1,500 horsepower.
Stop scrolling down. Go back up just a little bit. There's another motor. So there's the 63-pound motor, and then there's another one called the Terrier, which weighs 187 pounds, but it's 670 horsepower and 811 pound-feet of torque. For less than 200 pounds, you're getting that much. So imagine that powering the front and a twin-turboed V8 or V10 or V12 or whatever the fuck they're going to put in the rear, making 700-800 horsepower. I mean, to me, that, like you were saying, that's kind of to me what seems like the best of both worlds. Is I still think a turboed or a forced induction of some point, of some sort, engine in the rear as your main powertrain with an augment of 1 or 2 motors like these, I think is where it's the best marrying of technology that way. And again, you see it in the SF90. It's so heavy. Mm-hmm. Whereas, motors that are as light as these are, you could keep that weight down into the low 3,000s and have that kind of horsepower. And now you're really cooking with Crisco, as they say.
Yeah, as them bitches say. So, again, I'm not certain how to say this. It's Gemera.
I think it's just Gemera.
Gemera?
I think. Either
way, it's sexy. That's just a 3-cylinder?
Yeah.
It's a 3-cylinder. I'm trying to look up the horsepower.
And that's the 4-seater car that, with 1,500 fucking horsepower or whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah, but looking at so I'm going to share this with you, the graph. You guys can't see this, but maybe we'll remember. Look at them freaking peak numbers up here in the kilowatt.
Yeah, it's wild.
8,000 RPMs and shit. It's
wild.
Is that really an energy can next to that damn?
Yeah, that's how small that is.
Holy
fucking
shit.
Tiny, making 335 fucking horsepower.
Yeah, I mean, so if these guys can figure that out, and what they're talking about is the clean, there's a whole write-up on here. If you go to Koenigsegg's website and you look up what you call it? Gemera, you look it up, and this whole car was designed around CO2. They're calling it CO2 neutral renewable fuels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so take this engine that we're talking about in particular, right? 63 pounds and adds 335 horsepower and 443 torque. So imagine taking a Pista, right? And you incorporate just that one fucking motor into the front axle, right? So now you've got 1,000 horsepower car, and something as simple as adding that engine and just putting carbon fiber rims instead of the ones that come on it, you would cancel out that weight addition. So you'd still have a 3,050 pound car with 1,000 fucking horsepower on it.
And you could even save weight by doing what they did with the SF90, drop the reverse.
Yeah, which, I mean, to me, you wouldn't need to, but yeah, you could. You know, but just as an example, or let's say you add it in addition to the rear, and now you've got 1,000 to the rear, but it's, you know, instant torque and then pulls like a freight train at higher speeds. And I mean, it's just like there's so many combinations that you could do with that to make it just absolutely monstrous in performance capability. That's always been the biggest hindrance with electric power, is adding a shitload of weight. You know, that and the fact that, you know, the battery wears out really fast. And when it does, like if it's not up in the, you know, 85% or above, you don't get the same level of performance. You know, if you're driving around in a Plaid and the battery's at 20%, you're not doing a 660 to 130, you know, not even close. So you have very limited power band widths in terms of the charging of the battery or how well it's charged. So, you know, to me, this is just really exciting. You know, now I think it's kind of the second generation, or maybe even the third generation hybrid technology wise, of where now it's starting to actually get to be something where I'm interested. You know,
it's definitely getting legs, and I think where it started to really intrigue people was with the Porsche. Sorry,
the 918.
Yeah, the 918 really put it out there that whoa, we can do this. Smaller engine, adding motors, and we still got power. We got theater with an engine sound still, and it's not fake. And then you got the LaFerrari, which is a hybrid type engine too, and then these guys doing it. I would bet money that Bugatti's not far working on it.
I think Bugatti actually, because they're now owned by Volkswagen Motor Group, is that they're working on an all electric Bugatti actually. But
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, an all electric anything makes it not that anymore. You know, there's just
it's what they did with the Mustang.
Yeah, I mean, like it just shouldn't be a fucking Mustang.
Rename it.
Yeah. But I think with any brand of car, you know, an all-electric Lamborghini to me is not a Lamborghini. You know, it just isn't. But
when I think Lamborghini, I think displacement.
Yeah.
V10s, V12s.
Loud fucking exhaust.
Loud motherfucking ear-hurting cars. And doors going up, which the stupid Huracan don't have cool doors. Sorry if that upsets you guys that are watching.
So here's a quick poll to drop in the comments or the live chat right now: is doors up or standard? What do you think is better?
Looks wise, I'm gonna say up.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see like if most people feel that way.
Yeah,
so put that shit in there.
You'd be surprised. We'll re-answer some stuff on the next episode after going through the comments, but you'd be surprised with my answer of what I would think is more practical, because it's going to change.
Yeah.
But it also matters on brand.
Yeah. I mean, or not. I think for most cars, when the doors go up, it's easier to get in and out of them because it takes some of the roof line out of your way getting in and out. You know, so from that standpoint, because they're already so fucking low to the ground and not very big on the interior, having doors that go up, as long as they have that, tend to make them easier to get in and out of. But, you know, whether or not they look cool or not, obviously, I think that's just a personal choice. I think on some cars they do and some they don't. But
yeah, Need to Speed was in. It's another review channel. He does car reviews. Great guy. He was in the 720. I told you. I'm not going to say it on the air, but I had him laughing his ass off. He gets in the fucking car. He's, what's he, 6'1", 6'3"? He's fucking tall.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's taller than me. But he's a bigger guy. Not big as in fat, but he's a bigger guy. He gets in the McLaren. He's like, how the fuck do I get out of here? I gave him away, and he's like, man, fuck you. But great guy. I don't think he said fuck you. I'm pretty sure he don't cuss. But it was a pretty funny deal. But the doors go up on McLaren, and people don't realize there's an art to learning to get in a McLaren. You, of course, know it because you've got in them. But the more you get used to it, there's an art versus an SVJ or a Aventador. I hear they're kind of a pain in the ass to get in and out of.
Yeah, I've not driven an Aventador. I have gotten in and out of one a few times, and it was brutal. The getting in and getting out. There's only one car that was worse than that, and that's the Senna. But that's easily the shittiest fucking getting in and out of experience of any car I've ever.
Seats, right?
Yeah, I mean it was obnoxious. I mean it was almost laughable. It was so stupid.
Well, we're going to McLaren after this because I know they have a Senna up there.
Yeah, it was fucking unbelievably stupid. But the Aventador was not as bad, but similarly ridiculous. And the thing that I dislike the most about that is there's absolutely no visibility out the back, and there's almost none out the front either. I honestly don't know how people drive those fucking cars. I mean, the visibility in them is fucking terrible. But
I think it's the 570 and the 600 LT. They're a little difficult to get in and out of too.
I don't think I've ever gotten in and out of either.
The 720 where they, and here we are kind of fucking with y'all's way of voting here, but the 720, the way that top twists open,
yeah,
you know, it helps a lot.
Yeah,
you step into that bitch. That's a fucking cool car, the way it opens up.
Right.
So let's get into the Porsche losing their fucking.
Yeah, how about the? I'm sure you guys have heard about this by now, but the ship that fucking had Volkswagen Auto Group Vag cars on it.
Vag.
I mean, there were fucking Porsche, Bentley, Lamborghini, Volkswagen. Like there was 4,000 cars that I think are all destroyed, all 4,000 of them. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, holy fuck! Like, I can't even imagine. I mean, especially when I'm sure some of those were like GT3s and probably Turbo S's and, you know, cars that they don't have many of them to begin with. And like, can you imagine having ordered a car and it's like it's finally built, especially something like that, right? You put a deposit down 2 years ago and spec'd it out and whatever, and, you know, it's a GT3 or a fucking Huracan or something like that on its way over here fucking burns up, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I can't even fucking imagine. 1,100 of them are Porsches.
1,100 Porsches. Good God. So the one is earmarked for Matt Ferreira.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, one of the guys. So I'm a part of the 992 board on Facebook, not board, group. And one of the dudes, I could feel his fucking pain because he posted, you know, when you order these, they'll send you pictures of it being painted and all kinds of shit. It's a pretty neat process to watch. Once it gets crated up and put on the container, you can follow it hitting beacons throughout the ocean.
So he had a 992 on there? No shit.
And dude, he posted it, and then he posts its last beacon was like an hour, 2 hours before the fire reported. And you could just, the dude's post, you could feel his fucking sadness because I think he said it was 2 years at this point to get the car. Yeah, and it was like a Carrera 4S, you know, and that just goes to show you how hard these are to get right now.
Yeah.
That's not a extremely crazy car. So you got the 911s, the GT3s, as you said, that are on this boat. And man, I couldn't imagine, because if I'm delayed 2 weeks on getting my fucking car, I'm like, man, fuck this shit. Yeah. You know, it frustrates me. I get angry. I couldn't imagine fucking.
Yeah, 2 year wait that you put probably $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 down, I imagine, you know, and yeah, that sucks. I mean, first world problems, right? But still, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it's
holy shit.
Suck.
Can you go back up just a little bit? Did you see that's good. A cumulative value of $376,675,000. So almost $400 million worth of vehicles. Wow.
That's on 95. The average wholesale is 95,000 per car. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's wild.
The good news is the crew's safe.
Yeah. You know, it's not funny, but international maritime law at that point, once the crew is off and it's deemed like a runaway ship, basically, is that it's finders keepers. There is no authority in terms of who owns it anymore at that point.
So a pirate
could
jump on.
Anybody could. I mean, like, a fucking, boats could have gone out there and tried to salvage vehicles, and if they could, they could keep them.
Really?
Legally, yeah.
Holy
it's like
shit.
full blown pirate shit. International maritime law. There's some squirrely things and some things that would surprise you that way.
I guess no one owns that.
Yeah, it's an international water, so when it's abandoned, it's basically fair game. Now, on the same or flip side is that if it happens in your territorial waters, let's say, you have whatever, a fortune, or, whether it's gold or diamonds or whatever the fuck you have that's super valuable, and it sinks, in whoever's international or whoever's waters are from a boundary standpoint, then it's also yours, So if you're piloting a ship and it goes tits up and sinks, then if it's not in international waters, then it now belongs to whoever the fuck owns the territory that it sunk in. It's just, there's some weird shit that way. But
21 Lamborghinis.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what
are they?
Which ones they are.
Oh, hold on. Oh, it didn't include a Bugatti. Fixing to say, son of a. I'm gonna be watching the auctions when that bitch pops. Yeah, I feel bad for them, but the good news is they're just cars, and Volkswagen Group, I would bet, is going to make these owners, they're going to take care of them.
I bet they won't.
You don't think so?
I mean, I think that they'll replace them. I don't think they'll do any. I don't think they'll do anything special for them, though.
You don't think they'll bump them up at all?
I don't think so.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I doubt it. I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
I'd hope they would. But, I mean, you're probably right. I mean, at this point, they hold all the...
Yeah, I mean...
It's not their fault.
Yeah, so on that bottom paragraph, it's unclear how many cars are shipped annually, but a few thousand. Insured losses are but a drop in the bucket to what the Fortune 500 ranks as the 10th biggest company in the world. Not auto company. The 10th biggest company on the planet is Volkswagen Auto Group. So this is nothing to them, basically. And, so... Yeah, they'll replace them. I don't think they're going to do a fucking thing elsewise.
That's craziness.
And the 911 GT2 RS, a few were lost in a similar accident in 2019. It's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. But I mean, it may not have been the whole ship at that point. It could have just been a.
But yeah, that, or there's probably only a few on them. I mean, as few as of those as they make.
That's fucking nuts. Well, I mean, I get it, because you got cars. There's specialty cars, right, that have issues. The SVJ, they only make so many of them. There were electrical issues with them. Well, they didn't replace the ones that caught on fire. That number never changed. They never went back and like, man, we fucked up. 10 of them bitches caught on fire. We're going to make 10 more.
Yeah. Wow.
The 765 LT, the first 50 of them, there was issues with them. Some of them were catching on fire. Some of them, when they went in, they got lemon lawed. And
no shit.
They didn't make no more. So they should take that shit off and be like 715s. But that's not why they're called 765. There was if you go look, and McLaren, oops.
Yeah.
We fucked up. We'll give you first shot at a Spider.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, McLaren's not a very big company either.
No.
I mean,
they can't afford some.
No,
if that shit would have happened to them.
Probably. Well, I mean, I'm sure. I know they're insured, but yeah, the hit inventory wise that would do. I think McLaren makes about 4,000 vehicles a year of all of their models.
That'd have been their whole inventory.
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, I mean, a year's worth of vehicles, which obviously they're not going to have a year's worth of vehicles on one boat, but still.
Can you pull up and see if you can find the release of Mercedes re-releasing the V8 to the United States? While we talk about Canada's Freedom Convoy.
Yeah.
So that was brought up again this weekend. My thoughts on the Freedom Convoy. I think it's great what these people are doing, standing up for what they believe in, but they started arresting them. Was it Saturday? They started arresting them, taking them like fucking 50 yards, and then had to release them because there ain't shit they could do with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking tyranny. There's no two fucking ways about it. It's I can't believe what's going on up there, man. It's nuts.
Yeah, people are saying, and they've talked about coming down to the United States and doing this at Washington, D.C. And if you pay attention, I'm kind of curious if that's why all of a sudden America's watching the Russia shit happening, and Russia's like, we ain't doing shit. What y'all worried about? We're not starting World War III. We're not doing this. It's our media loves to, hey guys, look at here.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on in Ukraine right now is nothing new. There's a big flare up in 2014 during Obama's presidency where, they annexed Crimea, and there were a lot of similarities, not the exact same situation, but very similar. And the reality of it is that Russia and all of the Eastern Bloc countries have had a history that's tumultuous at best for decades. Mm-hmm. I mean, decades and decades, so it's 100% a distraction. And the fact that we're worried about it, to me, is just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I think we should stay completely the fuck out of it. I wish that they were as worried about maintaining democracy here in the United States as they are in Ukraine, because maybe the border would be secured and, people could get the jab or not, wear a mask or not, a little better than what it is if they gave that much of a fuck.
To me, I always wonder when they do shit like that, especially if it's something like you're saying that's been happening for so long, when they start going crazy with it on the news. Is it a looky here while we do this down here?
Well, I think more than anything, it's just, shit's not going his way. Mm-hmm. And you've got, the polls tanking, which that's not a coincidence, when the amount of attention that's paid to, we'll take the coronavirus, as a example, mandate wise of, it's not a coincidence that when, the poll numbers tank and reflect, it's because people are pissed about this issue. And now all of a sudden the science has changed and, it's not that bad, and you can drop the mask and we can go back to school and all this other shit that, for the last fucking better part of 2 years, they've shoved up our ass and rammed down our throats saying that, you have to do this and it's science and it's, you must not care about people. You want people to die, if you're not willing to do exactly what we tell you and all this other shit, so it's a distraction. I mean, that's just all there is to it. It's it's unbelievable that,
Moderna stock, I've watched it tank like a motherfucker here recently. Speaking of the politics thing, I was asked over the weekend again, and I'm pretty sure I know your take on this, but the vaccine, people were asking me about the vaccine. You think it should be forced? Do you think, no, I don't think anything should be forced. And do I think people that get the vaccine are wrong? No, I do not. To me, it's same with most things. It's your fucking body. It's your choice to do, and that's how it should have been the whole time.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I agree. I'm not anti-vaccine. I have a ton of them. My kids have a bunch of them, and to do it over again, there's a number of vaccines that I would give them or that I would want as a child. There's some that I don't. I think, I agree. It should be a personal decision if you're an adult, or the parent's decision if they're children. And, you ought to be able to get what you want or not get what you want, and leave it the fuck alone, no different than anything else. I don't understand how this has gotten so, turned into or convoluted by politics and have it now turn into this issue that frankly doesn't really exist in any other way that I can think of, and it's, I just don't get it. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. The vaccines became the new Republican Democrat war.
Well, kind of, but I mean that's the weird thing is that there's people on both sides that disagree with the side that they're on, but yes, largely.
Well, I'm saying in the not them it's a new way for us as the public to be divided is, oh, you're not vaccinated? I'm vaccinated. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, not I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. But it's a new way for us as the public to be like, oh, you're not vaxxed?
Yeah, to be very divided and partisan in how we look at other people. Yeah, it's just dumb.
To me, I could give a shit less what you decide. It's my choice after talking with my doctor to not do anything. Am I pro-vaccine? No. Am I anti? No. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It's your choice. What your medical position is and what mine are may be two totally different things. It may be better for you to get this vaccine.
Yeah.
But to me, I want to see the science. Science comes out and science shows in the long run it's good to have, then, hey, I might jump on. I'll snort that bitch. But until then, my choice is not to have it.
Yeah.
Does that... So we're looking... Somewhere there was a release saying that re-released the AMG V8 to the United States. Yeah, right there. So there was a vintage V8s in the United States. When was that? September 2021. Go to the... No. There was a deal in one of the groups I'm in where they're fixing a release, and it was from Mercedes. It was Mercedes official, fixing a re-release. Maybe it's for 2023. Re-release the V8 AMGs again to the United States.
Did they decide not to? I guess I didn't even realize that they had.
Yeah, so right now you can't order a V8. So if you look, have you seen the price of a G-Wagon right now? $300,000.
That's fucking nuts.
And up. For a low mileage G-Wagon, it's $300,000 and up. I read slow as fuck, so Mike's gonna have to be speed reading all that. If I had to read all that shit, this would be a 4-hour show.
Well, if you stop, it says when asked more about it, the executive refused to elaborate, but they badgered them into receiving a statement that says that the V8 issue was predominantly about supply chain problems. So
yeah. So basically, it seems like they're playing catch up and then going to re-release once the parts are available. The original statement was, as of 2022, they were stopping V8 orders to the United States.
Yeah.
So they stopped the order chain, which is probably to catch up on a part or a few parts that they couldn't get or manufacture fast enough.
Yeah.
But they're re-releasing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, there's a couple other kind of conflicting, even they're saying, just stop where it's at. Is conflicting, is it supply chain? Is it quality concerns? But you can get that same Chrysler V8 in some Aston Martin models. So if it's supply chain, that doesn't add up. If it's supply, it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
This is my guess, and doesn't say here anywhere. But my guess is that Mercedes is a pretty progressive brand. Obviously, they're owned by Chrysler, and similarly, the big push to go all electric. I mean, my thoughts is they probably just as a company kind of internally decided that, a big fucking twin turbo V8, from an EPA standpoint is a kick in the nuts, and they wanted to get away from it and go more towards electric or V6 hybrids or whatever. That's to me, that makes more sense than either of those other two. But
yeah. They're supposed to start letting people order the G-Wagons again. I'm thinking they're going to be a lot higher now to make people not want the big V8. Then you have people like Volkswagen Auto Group or VAG. I like that. Yeah. We're going to stick with VAG. They've actually went to this EPA deal. I can't remember what group it is they have to go to protest it, but they're trying to get where Lamborghini can make V10s and V12s till 2035. And their argument is, we have Audi, Volkswagen, they start naming all the brands that we're already making full electric vehicles for. So our carbon footprint as a whole will be down. These are specialty vehicles. We'll lower the number we're making as long as we can make them in V10s and V12 still.
To me, they just shouldn't. To me, the EPA or whatever version, the Euro 5 restrictions, whatever governing body that is that dictates that, I don't think should be allowed to tell companies what they can and can't make. That's my take.
No, and here's the thing.
That's bullshit.
In the United States, and I'm not sure this happens in every country, I want a Corvette or I want a Dodge Demon or something that's just shit on gas. Unless it's a truck or an SUV, there's a gas guzzler tax. And I'm not saying they shouldn't put gas guzzler taxes on the trucks and SUVs. You people don't hate me, but hear me out. If you want those powerful 800 horsepower engines, and I probably know your answer to this, but you have the Dodges, the Fords, the Chevys, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris are fucking good on gas, so I can't put those in there. Who else? Audi, the R8, the V10. Any of these big high combustion engines, fuck, the BMW has a W12 that's fucking horrible on fuel. But I myself want those. I make the money to keep buying this car. And these are examples, not me trying to brag, but I make the money to afford these cars. Put a fucking gas guzzler tax on there that gives me the right to still buy that and pay whatever I need to clean shit up somewhere. Instead of it being $1,500, maybe it's $5,000.
Yeah, I mean,
would you pay it to keep a V8 and a V10, V12?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I guess I look at it a little differently. Not agreeing or disagreeing, is that charge whatever the fuck you're going to charge.
Yeah,
to me, I think it's kind of dumb or ridiculous to call something a gas guzzler tax.
I agree.
It's just like, if you want to charge extra because it does that, then do that, but just have it be the goddamn price.
Well, I'm saying, what if the governing bodies want this, that every time said car sells, Volkswagen or Chevy has to give them this check?
Yeah, because of my ego and personality, I would be less likely to buy something that a third party
is getting
added an additional go fuck yourself for having this car tax. I would. I'd be less likely to buy it. Now, maybe that serves their purpose, and then that would make me to want to buy it now. But, it ends up being a fucking pissing contest. But, to me, the biggest heartburn I have with all of it is not the tax itself or whatever. It's calling it that is irritating. But the biggest thing is what does it actually do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that like,
what's it cleaning up?
Well, like wherever this tax, because if that's what it is, well, tax is revenue and revenue goes somewhere. So if it's a gas guzzling tax revenue, how much of that in a year is generated? Where does it go and what do they do with it?
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea what the answer to any of those questions are. To me, that should be more prominent if they want to justify doing it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like you said or asked, is that you can choose not to buy it if you don't like it. Now, if it's a car that I want, I'm gonna pay what I feel comfortable paying for if it's a car that I want, and I don't really care how they line item the charges and whatever else. I think it's dumb.
Yeah.
But if I want something and it's within the realm of what I'm willing to pay for it, then I'm going to buy it, kind of no matter what. So I just think the whole thing is lip service, and it's more of like almost a virtue signal on some of these, car companies or even states or countries or EPA type organizations that just want to make people feel better about what they're doing, even though they're not doing a fucking thing anyway, to justify their existence. But so, whatever.
I do know me and you both, when we see a car we want, I'm not going through the window sticker looking for every line item. So if it's in there, and I know in the back of my mind it's in there, but at the end of the day, it's just in that bottom.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Is it what I want? Yes. Is it within the price range that I'm willing to pay for it? Yes. That's the only two things I'm looking at.
Yeah. Here's what's weird to me about this gas guzzler tax, right? So I buy a Dodge Charger, gas guzzler tax, $2,500. It could be different. Sorry, because it varies from car to car. $2,500, we'll say. I buy it. I don't want the car anymore. I've only had it 6 months. I get rid of it. You buy that car. You don't have a gas guzzler tax on it.
Well, I would assume that most people, like, that's factored into what they paid for it.
Yeah.
And so that like, I don't know that you're getting fucked the same way you would like tax rebates on, I don't know that I would look at it that same way. I mean, I see your point, but I think.
Well, I'm saying if the EPA was smart, which they're not, or whoever's doing this gas guzzler tax, the first person pays it is that rounded up for a 5-year ownership, like $500 a year being at $2,500.
I think it's just a one-time.
Yeah, it's a one-time hit. But if you want to keep these in production, charge it to every fucking owner. And again, like you said, there's going to be those people that are like, man, fuck this shit, I ain't buying it.
Yeah.
There again, you get your outcome you want, but you still leave the ability to have these cars on the market.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's similar to, taxing the shit out of cigarettes or alcohol.
Yeah.
Is it ultimately going to keep people from getting them that want them? No, it's not. Does it generate some extra money for
whoever
the people that come up with those? Yeah, it does. How is it used? Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
My issue with the government adding taxes and taking more money from anybody for any reason is that it's pretty rare that they put that money to good use and that it's justified. And I just, anytime the government decides to charge more and call it a whatever special fucking tax for whatever reason, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah. Maybe what they should do to make you feel better about your gas guzzling tax is they get this Vaseline and they write gas guzzler on it and they hand it to you when you sign.
Yeah. That way you can jerk off and still feel like you're getting something out of it.
Yeah. You're getting a little bit of something out of the whole deal. So
it's about it on time, isn't it?
That's what I'm checking right now. Motherfucker. Yep. That's it for this episode.
One thing, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One thing I just want, I don't think we talked about it, or I don't think I asked you guys to guess, but I'm going to ask you guys. I told you I got rid of the 911 last episode. I don't know if anybody guessed. I didn't see any of the comments, people talking about it when I talked about it, but I am curious what your guys' guesses are for what's replacing it. So throw that shit in the comments.
Ooh, I know what it is. I'm just kidding. I mean,
did anybody, when I mentioned it, in the live chat, or everybody was still welcoming each other and stroking each other off?
Yeah, I think more they think it's just
that's it.
Maybe nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
because we have for 2 weeks been talking about downsizing and
well, but we did say we're excited to fucking tell you what's replacing it. But
yeah, they're probably.
Go ahead and guess.
Yeah, just guess.
Just fucking guess.
Yeah, quit being a bitch and guess.
Have you let on to anything you got going on? Nothing.
No. Yeah. No, all I know is I got rid of the GT 500.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I ain't going to be too excited about what replaced it, but what's replacing some of the stuff, good time.
I will say what's neat is the daily drivers in the parking lot right now are all basically the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that says a lot.
Yeah. So, make sure to tune in Monday when we do questions and answers. Same time, same bat channel, and we're also on, what's the name of that?
Rumble.
We've signed up for Rumble, and make sure to go hit some comments and shit like that and give us some likes, follows on Rumble. If you're on there, I'm not going to go, hey, go sign up for Rumble. If you're on there, go check us out on Rumble. We want to get into some of those Rumbles. I like it because it's like that battle you against some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yes.
Good times. Yeah. So, that's it. Peace, bitches.